Talk to you about my nigga, you already know.
Look, hey yo, I'm wild kid, like a nigga fresh off a wild bid. Fuck your baby mom and throw the condom in your child's crib. I'm a foul spick, always doing foul shit.
Pelican fly signifies I'm one hell of a guy. I'm the one that televised, still telling me lies. Brung flowers for the dead when I said my goodbyes and wrote a letter to the better, y'all can never deny. Terrorized with them guys, then I severed the ties. Realized that them niggas wasn't ready to ride. Me, I still abide by the respect and the pride. Reppin' and wise, top 5, dead or alive. I'm a certified gangster, word of my grandpa. The real Scarface that fertilized Frank up. Play with my bank, I'll blow your whole camp up. Bust shots till my fucking hands cramp up. So stand clear and prepare, this a grand premiere. They all amp cause the champ is here. With a brand new swagger for the fans to cheer. Cuban Link chain hanging like a chandelier. Still a crook, still off the books this year. I got them shook like they about to get whooped in here. I make it look like a 9-chef cook this year. Blink pun, bring the beat as they put me here. Go.
Let's do it.
Cheer. Salute, salute, salute. You already know what it is. Your favorite Puerto Rican GQdaembassy. Alongside my shooter.
Big dogs, Cuban Link, el 24 quilate.
And of course,
We have the one,
the only,
the homie,
the man,
the son of Tony, the
Mellow Man.
the padrone with the big cojones.
Holy sugar.
The homie for
That
the bottom
part.
man. You already know. This man,
Hashtag rappers that golf.
hashtag mentiroso.
Fuck yeah.
Mellow Man motherfucking
Say
Ace in the building.
Ace, ace, ace.
Hip hop
right,
legend, West Coast icon.
You know, he's the man, he the man.
You know what I'm saying?
Strong Mellow.
Hey,
Ahí, como un cubano de verdad.
for real, for real.
El
Dale.
soltero al corazón.
Word up.
That's right.
That part. That part. That part.
Man, welcome.
Chilling,
Welcome
man.
to Off the book.
Happy Mother's Day to both of your brothers, man.
Yeah.
Off the top.
Thank you. Thank you. Qué cabrón. To you too, my brother.
Yes.
You too, man.
Facts,
Happy
facts,
Mother's Day,
facts. Happy Mother's Day to all
Even
the mothers.
though Mother's Day is every day. You already know.
That's a fact.
We know.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah.
You know what I'm saying? In particular, though, specifically, happy Mother's Day to my mom, my grandmother, you know what I'm saying? The mother of my children.
Oh my God. We're gonna shut down all the way
We
down?
have, bro, if I don't do it, I'm going to
You're
get
gonna
shot
miss
down.
one, and
I'm
that's-
going to get shot
But
down.
you're gonna miss one and it's
My
over.
daughter, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, exactly.
You can't miss one. So all of them. You already know. All the beautiful ladies, especially our beautiful females in our family.
Facts.
We know we love y'all.
We do. So what's good, brother? How you been, man? You working? I see you busy.
It's never enough, bro. You already know.
Yeah.
You know, we working and it's a blessing, but you know, it's just you got to stay grinding out here. You got to stay doing your thing, or you know, they'll forget you.
Oh yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Don't forget.
So you have to stay. You have to stay on it, on your brand, and pushing your what is niggas on the West Coast? They say pushing your line. You got to keep pushing your line. You know what I mean?
That's what's up.
Oh, Mellow, man, you're definitely an icon, man, in our eyes out here, man.
Yep.
And you are definitely one of the founding fathers to most. You know what I'm saying? That they don't realize, or they better realize. And, you know what I'm saying?
Thank you, my brother. Thank you.
Nací en Cuba ya. Yo nací, como estábamos hablando earlier, yo soy maderito de verdad, vine aquí en un bote que se llamaba La Orca, y estaba por todo eso. You know what I'm saying? To survive that, you already know it's a whole journey in itself. Only us Cubans.
Yeah.
But besides that, you know, being raised in the Bronx after that.
Yeah.
Went to Puerto Rico for 4 years, then went to the Bronx. So New York City really cultivated me and got me into the hip hop, you know what I'm saying, culture.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember, man, hearing a fellow Cubano like yourself, you know what I'm saying, do some records, man, and with the charisma, with the style, with the talent of a hip hop artist from America.
When was your first encounter when you heard of Mellow Man?
Mentirosa.
Mentiros, just like me. Yeah, same with me.
Mentirosa. But then I started, when you hear back in the days when you hear one song of artists, you dig deep. You start, you know what I'm saying, getting the albums, stuff like that. So,
Right.
and then you start getting to know them and all of that. So it's like, that's the beauty of hip hop. I was bragging about my brother, right? But I'm forgetting.
Yeah.
I'm getting caught up in the personal shit.
Right.
Because we doing this together, and we Latino, but we from here, and it's about us. And I'm forgetting about all the other Latinos that really, you know what I'm saying? And I remember Mello hit me with he hit me with a message or some shit, and it was
on
MySpace or some
I'm
shit.
about to say it had to be like my
And he
face,
said,
right?
"Yo, Cuban, how you know what I'm saying? How you gonna forget about me, man? Put some respect on my name." And I was like, "Holy shit!" And I remember when I said that shit, and I had to apologize to my brother. And I still this day, I feel like fucking so sorry that I didn't.
Yeah.
Because it's not like me, you know what I'm saying? Like me,
Yeah.
who I am, I always big up my people and especially the founding fathers of those that came before me.
That's right.
So Mellow Man is definitely, man, I'm sorry for that day. I'm sorry for that article that I wrote that in. And I want to let you know that, you know what I'm saying?
Nah. You know, me and you are Gucci as fuck. You already know that, so that goes without saying, my nigga. But
I
you
have
know,
to say
sometimes
it,
you
bro. I
just
have to say
gotta
it. I
educate.
have to
Yeah,
say
that's
it
it
out
right
loud.
here. Yeah.
Because I said it in the magazine, but now I got to say it publicly
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
So my apologies,
And
and I
I,
love you, and you know I respect you like a motherfucker.
my dog. You already know what it is. We've already we kicked it out here on the West Coast. You already know we're doing a song together, all that shit.
Fire.
So you and I know what it is, and eso es lo que importa.
No, see,
And that's the important thing, you know what I mean? So we cleared that shit years ago, and it was just like, hey, man, you know,
yeah,
just don't forget, you know, I'm like
you are.
I'm like the Grandmaster Caz of Cuban rappers. You
That's
know
right.
what I mean?
Heard.
That's right.
A lot of
Throw some
motherfuckers
shots in
forget.
the air. Throw some
Yeah.
shots in the air for the Mellow Man. Word up. But let me know, since we're
But
in that
nah,
topic, in that era, let me know who was your your process of getting into
well,
hip hop. Matter of fact, let's go to Cuba because you are Cuban.
Ooh, go to the lottery.
Yeah. So what's up? Tell me that story about Cuba and Nacido allá because you was born there.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
good. Yeah, we got you.
Yeah.
me and fuck the whole shit up. All right,
It
so
happens all the time.
my story starts back. I'm a you know speed it up. It's a long story, but
Yeah.
born in Cuba, and won the Cuban lottery to get my entire family off the island. However, my grandparents, aunts, uncles didn't want to come with my immediate family, so they stayed back. Later on in life, they would kick themselves in the ass for that decision. My brother and I, Sand Dog of Cypress Hill, we land here, and you know we saw movies like Wild Style and shit like that. You know, um, that really started to pique our interest in hip hop. And I remember in 1979 there was an Italian kid who came from New York. His name was Carmine Shalacy, and he brought the first boombox to junior high that I saw. And he was banging Rapper's Delight and These Are the Breaks and Christmas rapping and all that shit.
Wow.
And I'm like, what the fuck? That shit is dope. But I'm playing baseball at this time. And so I paid it no never mind. I kept doing my baseball thing. But then by 1981, when I heard Mean Machine and a record called Disco Dream with my man Mr. Schick rapping in Spanish, he started going, Wepa, wepa, ahí nada más, y la gente da da, ta ta caliente, and all that shit. When I first heard that, I said, fuck baseball. I want to be like that guy. And so I found out later on. So check this out. So what happened was now I start rapping in 81 behind hearing the Mean Machine and my man Mr. Schick.
We interviewed him.
And so
He talked real great about you and how much like respect and love you showed him.
You know, I had to introduce him to Mr. Shake, right? I was like, I gotta get him connected.
Yeah, I didn't even know that. So when I heard your name and how he talked about you and what you did, you know what I'm saying? That's a sign of respect.
Yeah,
you know, like back in the day,
sure.
that was very important. So I was proud. I was proud. I was like, yo, that's just in the blood. Like that's like Cuban blood. Like we always got to give that, and that's why
Yep.
Yeah.
Give it up.
Yeah. And so what happened was I'm rhyming. I start rhyming and I start running into the Cuban clubs out here. And I was running this rhyme that goes, Cuando llego a la casa, esto es lo que pasa, empiezo a gozar con toda la raza en el micrófono, te digo el rapeo, soy el mejor, y eso es lo que creo, el apellido, and then I'm going off, right?
Yeah.
So I used to run that at the Cuban clubs where we grew up at. So then in 1987,
and that's in
my man,
LA. That's in the West Coast.
Yeah, it's West Coast.
yeah.
There's a community of
See,
Cubans out there, like a big one.
yeah,
Oh, wow.
yeah,
I
it
didn't
was
know
a
that.
community of Cubans. And so we had two clubs. One was for the parents, and one was for like the younger kids. For our parents got us a club so we can go kick it and listen to music and stay out of the fucking street. However, you know, they didn't know what was going on in there. Like we drinking beers with haciendo no pase, girando no los pases, you know, all
They
that
thought it
shit.
was
You know what
study
I mean?
hall. They thought it was study hall or something.
Kids
Yeah.
would go
Well,
and play.
no, they, you know, sometimes some of the girls' parents would drive them over there and see lo que está pasando, see if they're being good girls. But by the end of the night, you know, we break out with them
Yeah, you spike get
and
a
stuff them
punch.
in
You
the
spike
back of
get a
the
punch.
car,
You throw
doing
it fucking. Yeah. You already know how kids
yeah,
do it.
we were doing the illest shit. We were doing the illest things to them. And that's kind of where I started rhyming and getting my feet wet for the stages and doing shit by just rhyming in front of my own Cuban people.
Right.
And they're the ones that really like inspired me to keep going. So
That's
in
dope.
1987, now we rhyming for about 6 years. In 87, my nigga DJ Muggs, he was in
Shout
a
out.
crew called 783. Shout
Okay.
out DJ Muggs.
Yes, sir.
He came on the block and he was like, yo, because we had met him through our Puerto Rican brother Eli, rest in peace. He introduced us to Brady B and Sean B. That was 783, and then they told us about their DJ. And when we met the DJ, like he felt like one of us, because we were all b-boy minded type dudes. Like my brother, myself, Be Real, and Tomahawk, we were all real b-boy. We would always follow the New York shit that was coming out of New York.
Okay.
And we had to, you know, paper clippings. This is before the internet and all
Right.
that. And we had to put, you know, the David Letterman show on VHS to tape record when Ken Swift and Crazy Legs were going to come out. So we're learning this culture from 3,000 miles away.
Wow.
But we're like inspired. So by the time Crush Grew and Beat Street came out, nigga, we was in full force. So now it's like 87, and Muggs comes on the block. He's like, yo, I'm going to go cut a demo for the movie Colors with
I was gonna say that.
783.
Crazy.
I was
It's a
gonna say
movie
that.
starring,
As
you know
far
what I'm
as as
saying,
far as,
Ice-T
as
and
far
all that.
as far as the ambience out there, like the movie Colors really captured that. As far as like the ambience, how the gangs and
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
looked okay.
Yeah. I mean, it captured
For
a
that
lot of
time.
that. You
For
know,
that time.
there's a lot of, yeah, for that time,
Right.
it was all that for that time. Sendog was at the time he was trying to keep a job to keep Pops happy, or if not, he was gonna have to pay rent, right? And my nigga Be Real was out gangbanging still in the hood.
Right.
So I'm kind of like the only one there. So I volunteered to roll with him to the studio. And when we get there, these two dusted out white boys turned out to be, you know, Jewish kids came out, you know, Matt Dyke, rest in peace, and Michael Ross. And they had just started a record company called Delicious Vinyl.
Delicious.
And I said,
Wow.
Yeah,
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And they told us we just started a record company and we signed a rapper by the name of Tone Loc and another another rapper called Young MC.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Teacher.
Yeah.
I rhyme in Spanish too. And they was like, what? You rhyme in Spanish? So lo and behold, I kicked that rhyme that I told you about before from the Cuban club.
Yeah.
And back then, you used to yell on niggas like, "Cuando llego a la casa, esto lo que pasa." Like
That's how we.
niggas was rapping. You know what I mean?
Yelling. Yep.
And they were like, "Yo, stop." Damn, man, you like the Spanish LL Cool J out this motherfucker, man. Yo, for real, that shit is dope. They said, "Why don't you come back tomorrow? We're gonna put you on some tracks, and if you sound dope, then we'll give you a single deal." And so I came back. I borrowed Mom's whip. I went up there, I laid down the track, and it turned out to be that same Spanish rap called Mas Pingón. And that happened to be my first single because at the time, Pops had kicked me out of the house because I believed in myself so much. I didn't want to hold a job like Sendog. I'm like, fuck no, I got all this talent. I came all the way from Cuba to do something. Here's my opportunity. I'm going to take it, right?
Right.
So
The American dream.
Facts.
We got to chase
the
it.
American dream, right?
Yeah, we got to chase that.
So then what happened was they gave me the single deal and all that. And I was able to then get the test press off of that and come back to my pop's house and go, hey, look, Dad, I'm starting to do some shit with this music shit. Here go my first record. And he was like, oh my God, I knew you could do it. Look at welcome back into the house, you know, all this shit.
Did you sing you caught the vapors? Did you
Yeah. In my mind. Cuban. In my mind, I did, Cuban. In my mind. And so that's where shit started. So that's kind of the influence that I first got. Mr. Schick of the Mean Machine, and then I gotta give it up to Ramel Z, rest in peace. Ramel was the MC for for um Rocksteady Crew, and them at the time. Ramel is where we took all those first samples, like this is the mellow they call this is the mellow, this is the mellow, and all that whole Cypress Hill, all that shit.
Yeah.
We took all that from them Ramel records, and so that's kind of gave us our life, you know, like DJ Muggs was big on scratch hooks at that time.
Right.
And so he would start records like this is the mellow they call this is the
There was a
mellow
lot
they
of
call.
sampling and
Ooh, I remember.
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The era was about that.
I missed
I still
that
love
shit.
that, though.
I did, yeah.
I love that. I got a record called New York that
Yeah.
I took everybody's like little things.
Catchphrase.
It's
Yeah.
like eight MCs that I took the whole thing and I made a whole rhyme about it.
Crazy.
But I want somebody to, you know, really scratch that in there, you know, bring that vibe back. I love scratching.
Facts.
Yeah, you gotta have scratches, man. I feel like it's not hip hop unless it has scratches, right?
It's a
So
lost start. Yeah, but you're right.
that was the mentality back then. And so when we dug a little deeper, we found that whole. So I shot across town to Cypress Hill. As I took my dog up to see my boy, I saw this like a nigga freaking with a toy. And when we got that rhyme, that's what gave Cypress Hill the name Cypress Hill.
Right.
Because we lived on a block called Cypress, but then we found out through Muggs there was a project in Brooklyn called Cypress Hill Houses, right?
Yeah.
And so it made perfect sense
East to
for
west.
them to go, for them to go with that Cypress Hill name, and for me to go with the Mellow Man thing, since he had already said, this is the mellow they call the Ramel, the shock.
Oh, that's what
Ramel.
he got it.
And then he would throw his voice and shit. And that's kind of where we formed our identities at. And for myself,
Would you say you a
That's
mellow
what
guy
really-
though? Are you a mellow dude?
I wasn't really mellow though. I
That's what I'm
wasn't really
saying.
like,
You wasn't. 'Cause when you spit and shit,
I wasn't
you was-
like that.
Yeah, you wasn't the mellow, like even the way you spit,
Yeah.
you was, you know what I'm saying, like animated with some extra shit, like gangster shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Even though they kind of put you out there with the ladies and stuff like that, but
Yeah.
I see you a hardcore individual.
Yeah, it
like,
had its commercial, but it
He's a
still had
street
an
nigga.
edge to it as well, of course.
Well, it had to have a look. And I think later on, like 3 years later, what happened was I got approached I was opening up for Tila Rock in San Diego State University because they took myself, Tone Loc, and Young MC to open up for him
Okay.
and show like this hip hop thing going on the West Coast. Well, we get there, man. We get to the hotel. We swear we nice. We're on tour. Look at us. We're smoking weed in the hotel.
Chilling.
Tone Loc, Sand Dog, Be Real, DJ fucking this guy, the other guy. And when we get to the show, man, at that time, Cypress Hill was my dancers, right? I'm in the front. Cypress
doing
was
the
my
Tupac
dancers, right?
Yeah.
And exactly.
Digital Underground.
Yeah,
shit.
so-
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
like them. And so now, you know, we go out to do the show. We swear it's gonna be sold out. It's gonna be, you know, shorties all over the fucking place. Hey, yo, when we got there, it was 10 motherfuckers in the whole
It was like a
fucking hall.
showcase.
It happens, kid.
It was like
So now our moms always used to tell us, look, you go hard if it's 1 or 1,000 people out there. So we went hard. We went hard on stage like it was 1,000 motherfuckers in there. So what happened was, as I'm jumping off stage, there's a dude in the back of the hall and he's waving me over. I go over there, I take a look, you know, I go see this why are you way back here, but the other 9 of you motherfuckers are in the front, you know what I
right,
mean?
yeah.
He's over.
Anyway, I get to him and he's like, yo, my name is Kenny Ortiz, man. I'm also an Afro-Cuban like you. He reaches in his pocket, he pulls out a business card, and he goes, I also work for Capitol Records, and we want to give you a major record deal
Nice.
for all this Spanish shit, that you're doing.
And you,
But I'm like, yo,
you
but
approached them?
Now he was at the show.
nah.
No, I know, but did you
He
approach
came there.
But I'm saying, did you
He
approach
came
him?
there.
Like when he was in the back, did you approach him or he came to
he
you?
waved him. He waved him.
Oh, he waved you.
No. Yeah. We finished the show. We opened up for Tila Rock. I do my thing. I'm out there like it's 100,000 motherfuckers
Right.
really in my mind.
Be real and
So
set up doing the hump in the background. I get you. Go ahead.
Well, they doing the fly hip hop
Yeah,
dances
yeah,
of that time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Not to quantify them at all, because the shit that they was doing on stage was the fly shit at that
You
time.
already know, nigga, we love Scoop
You know
and
what I'm
Yo,
saying?
listen.
remember, we love
The
that shit.
scrap lover,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah, yeah.
So
Yeah,
So we love that.
they formulated they shit behind Scoop and Scrap, actually. You know, so our shit was fly from with an East Coast perspective
but on the West
to it
Coast,
on
yeah.
stage.
Yeah.
All right, so now I get off stage, the guy waves me over, introduces himself. He says, "We want to give you a major record deal on Capitol Records." I said, "Well, I'm already signed at Delicious Vinyl." And he said, "Don't worry about that. We're gonna buy out the contract." And I'm like,
And your
"You
mom
mean
was in
I'm going?
business? Your mom was business back
Yeah,
then, or just artist?
yo, I'm just a fucking kid, you know. I'm 21. I'm starting to barely learn this shit. I only have a single deal contract. It was really small, but a lot of pages. So I'm learning.
Mm.
So now I said, so wait a minute, you're telling me that I'm gonna sign to y'all and my labels are gonna say Capitol Records like Frank Sinatra, Jimi
Yeah,
Hendrix, and all these other motherfuckers, the Jackson Five, all that shit. He said, yeah.
that was it
He
too,
said,
right?
call me. He
Just
said,
to
call me
roll with
on
that.
Monday.
You see the power of the brand,
Nigga.
because that's a brand.
Right.
Now you're part of the brand.
A
So
whole machine.
you as an artist,
Yeah.
you feel fucking incredible.
Yo,
You know what I mean?
I mean, so what do? I call him on Monday. Sure enough, he was a man of his word. He says, okay, this is the meeting time. Bring your manager. At the time, I didn't even have a manager. So I talked to my nigga Tony G, who put the scratches on that Mas Pingon record. He's another fellow Cuban.
Cuban,
So
man, what the
Cuban
fuck
he,
I've been all my career. I want to fucking hook up with the.
we were all over
Let
here,
me get to
nigga.
this Cuban Link
We was
going
all
crazy
over
over
here.
here.
You went to the wrong coast. You went to the wrong coast, my nigga. And so, right.
The
So
start getting involved.
Capital
with my shit.
Records,
Stop.
Capital
Yeah.
Records.
Okay. So now I'm like, I go up. Tony G introduced me to his manager, Maury Alexander. Very gangster Jewish man, been in the game a long time. Controlled, BB King's whole catalog and all that type of shit.
Power.
Gangster from
That's
Chicago. I mean, like
Shot
now I'm
down.
starting to meet like,
That's-
the real music industry gutter motherfuckers. Like
Yeah.
the type of motherfuckers set the revolver on the table before the meeting starts and goes, how we
Black
doing?
mobility.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, movers and the shakers.
Those are the ones behind the puppet masters. Yeah.
Yeah, if not the puppet masters, you know what I mean? So I take him with me to the meeting, and sure enough, what happened was, Delicious Vinyl at the time, they needed to press more vinyl on Tone Loc and Young MC. So the money they got from Capitol for me, which was another, I believe, 45 G's, they were able to flip into those other artists that they had. Now, little did we know, all three of us would jump off and go to major labels. You feel me? But for my story is I go to Capitol.
Okay.
And now it's 1989 and I'm tracking out the first album. A very experimental album because I had a lot of different styles. I'm not a one-dimensional MC.
I've seen it. I've
You
seen
know, I could do English, I could do Spanish, I could do bilingual, I could do club, I could do house, I could do the love ballad,
Yeah.
the hardcore joint. You know what I mean? And so it was a very experimental record where we introduced Afro-Cuban rhythms, guaguancó, and things like that, using guaguancó rhythms like and sampling Justi Barreto records, which nobody had been doing in hip hop at that time. It was insanity. Like, what the fuck is this rhythm? And then we got Tony G on Los Cueros really bringing percussion to the recording process and doing shit differently. Aside from the scratching with DJ M Walk, Julio G, Tony G, but we bring in percussion into it.
Yeah, you came with that imprint of Cuba. And you brought that to the game. You know what I'm saying? That's very important.
Sure,
Me and
for sure.
too.
That's the
Me, I always incorporate something like, regardless, we got our stuff from out here, the hip hop, and we spit like, East Coaster, and back in the day.
There's always some Latino in there.
That's what we do. You know what I'm saying? As artists, like, he was definitely one of those that incorporated them Cuban sounds.
Facts.
I heard it.
Thank you, my G. Yeah, but again, a lot of this was not my doing. It was Tony G. Every time he played a track for me, I would be like, yeah or no, And so what it turned out to be now, we got a lot of different styles. And my man DJ Muggs threw a track in there. We called that River Cubanos. And then Tony G, toward the end of the record, comes with this Carlos Santana sample. And I'm like, I wasn't feeling it because it had a very slow cadence, a very draggy things, but he said something very important on that session. He said, don't come back to the studio until this one is bilingual. Up to that point, I had either just been rapping it all English or all Spanish on on those records, right? I said, well, what do you mean? He said, I don't know what I mean, but I threw my caracoles down and my oricha said, you got to make this shit, bilingual.
And that was Mentirosa?
And
got to be Mentirosa.
Yeah. So then the hardest part was, how do I invent this style that doesn't exist, right? And so one day, me and my nigga Be Real was sitting out in front of the crib. I'm trying to write this record. We sitting in his car. We drinking a 40. We're smoking on a Blizzy. And I had to use the restroom. And I said, my nigga, I'll be right back. I'm going to go take a leak. We was out in front of my mom's crib. As I walk into the bathroom, on the West Coast, houses are like a driveway away from each other. So you could hear your neighbors say some shit. So our bathroom was aligned with the neighbor's kitchen. When I hear the little kid tell his mom, he says, Ama, I'm going to the liquor store. And I'm like, wait.
That's Spanglish.
You said that's Spanglish. Yeah, exactly.
That's the fucking style right there.
Yeah.
So when I got back to the car, the nigga Be Real had the opening line, the check this out baby part, right?
Check this out, baby.
Shout out to Be Real for that.
Yeah, because you got to do like a Spanish. Check this out, baby.
Yeah, he Cuban too.
Yeah, he's half Cuban, right?
He's half Cuban, yeah.
Mitad mexicano y cubano.
Yeah.
Okay, that is.
Shout
out. He got the Cypress Hill motherfuckers. I love y'all.
No, all of us. We
love you too, bro. We love you too, man. So Trip. So now he got the English line going. I said, all I got to do is follow it up with a Spanish line.
Yeah.
So I go, check this out, baby. Tenemos tremendo lío. And then I said, okay, now let's put an English line and a Spanish line and make it rhyme on the other language.
And you know what's crazy? It's crazy. Nigga. It's crazy because I swear to God, listen, later on in life, I wrote the Señorita shit for Puff Daddy, right? Y eso es lo que hice.
Yeah.
Eso es lo que hice. Una inglés y una español. One English and one Spanish. That's how we usually talk.
There it is.
When we're together, like Spanish people get together, you know, especially the New Yorkers. That's how they do it. They do the fucking, tú sabes,
Spanglish.
The disparate lo que hablan, pero que it's always fucking like one English, one Spanish, one English.
Yeah.
So
it's like the word that you can't really remember in English, you're going to say it in Spanish or vice versa.
Yeah.
So I did the mommy ven aquí, I wanna be your papi chulo, can't you see? Baby, I need you conmigo. Your style is my estilo, te necesito yo a ti. The same shit.
Same shit, yo.
Yeah.
Look at that. That's the creator right there. That's the master. That's the man.
And that was the hardest part. So when I got back to the car,
where that kid at now, man, to get some of this credit, man.
Yeah. Hey, I don't know, bro. He can't get nothing anymore. You know what I'm saying?
But you know what? It's a team, though. He said he had Be Real there. It's a team effort. That's just the beauty of hip hop. When y'all do it together, it's magic, man.
I could just picture you and Be Real in the car as you guys are formulating this thing, right? And you get the first verse done. You're like, yeah, y'all going crazy.
That was hot boxing, though. It was definitely a hot boxing.
Definitely a hot boxing. the first official episode of hot boxing.
Yeah, no kidding. Because we were smoking on a Blizzy, and we were in his Pinto at the time. This is before, you know, the big money came along and the gold and the platinum records and all that shit.
Yeah.
So we barely trying to figure this shit out, you know?
Yeah, man.
And so by the time I finished that first verse, it kind of wrote itself. I just tapped into an old story that I had from a female. And so I put the joint together like that based off of memory that she said to me. But the thing is, when I got in the studio to track it, it was that slow, draggy, boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
Boom, 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 boom. You know, it's very slow and draggy. But then somebody said, well, look, man, this is the first record of its kind like this. So it's important that people understand it the first time because it's bilingual too.
Yep. They slow it down.
So they slowed it up to where people could catch the cadence and understand the verbiage before they moved on to the other language without realizing what I said in the other language, right? So then when it came time to film the video, I had the idea to do the subtitles on the bottom for like the movies so that people can stay with it as they're listening and watching it at the same time. And lo and behold.
What record did come out? Pardon me. It came out first, the Tone Loc's Funky Cold Medina?
Yeah, good question.
Or the Wild Thing? Or did it come out before Mentirosa or that was at the same time?
That was all the same time, 1990.
Okay, so that's
all those singles.
Yeah, because it related. Because
Bust a Move.
it related because of what he's saying right now was dragging a little bit. It was slower. You know what I'm saying? So it kind of reminded me of the same vibe.
Yeah, because when we hear both those songs from Young MC, well, I know Tone Loc song was written by Young MC. So for us, we kind of feel like, you don't know if your record came out first and it just kind of set like a template of how the cadence is. It's like the same exact.
It was all accidental, but at the same time, we had all spawned. We went from Delicious and parlayed into major deals, right? So
so
that's kind of why that happened probably. But it was a matter of release dates. I think mine was August 29th or some shit. So I don't know when Bust a Move came out, exactly what day, or Funky Cold Medina or a Wild Thing or something like that.
Yeah.
You know, because I know Tone Loc had Funky Cold Medina back in '87.
Oh, okay.
And then Young had rhyming, something about speed rhyming. That's how he got his deal. I got my deal based off the Mas Pingon shit.
Right.
So now that we're here at this major label situation, is when they start to put together with what doesn't happen anymore. The A&R people got with me. Like right now, the A&R doesn't exist anymore.
Wow.
They want the artist to come in already complete, done, dialed in, ready to go.
Yeah.
Back then, they would help to mold and shape you and fucking put your shit together, you know. And so they said, well, we know that you have a new sound, but what's going to be the look? Because the first single off that album wasn't Mentirosa.
Okay.
It was Rhyme Fighter. It was a shit called Rhyme Fighter, where I'm actually the one first doing that voice that Be Real got. And that's like, yo, MCs, there's a new sheriff in town, you know? His name is Mellow Man Ace.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's my original style. Yeah. 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 But see, that came from somewhere. That came from me. That was called my year two. I used to call that my year 2000 style.
Wow.
Because remember, it was now 1990, but we looking into the future. And we used to have
Medina also rhymed like that too on the way. Remember, Funky.
Very nasal.
I mean, that's what Medina.
Oh, you mean Tone
Funk Dubious?
Oh yeah, Son Dubious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He had that same kind of faster. Yeah.
Now what happened was that Be Real. I'll tell you how that came about. Be Real had gotten into a fight, and he had a nasally voice, congested voice after that fight. And so that nigga DJ Muggs asked him to ask me, could he borrow my year 2000 style?
Punch him again so he can rhyme like that forever? What the fuck?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, nothing like that. Nah.
Okay, yeah.
No, normally when he talk like this. No, Holmes, because Holmes, it's just a joke.
I heard him.
Shit is not even done. But now, my year 2000 style is like this. Yo, MCs, there's a new sheriff in town, you know? His name is Mellow Man Ace. So now he uses that to go with Cypress Hill. Because I'm the real one. Yes, the funky Phil one. You know, I'm the real one. Yes, the funky Phil one.
Yeah.
So now they had an identity and a voice.
Okay.
Based off that style.
Don't get it twisted with the voices and all this shit. They think with motherfuckers is nice.
Were crazy.
Like niggas spitting lyrics. Like, you know what I'm saying? Motherfuckers is nice, man. Yeah, your team was. I didn't even know you was even down with it until I found out Sendog was your brother.
Yeah,
and then I found out he's Cuban. I was like, cojones, pero they Cuban, and he started to look like Mellow Man, like the way they look.
Yeah, way they look.
So I was like, them niggas is family. Back in the days, remember we had the magazines and shit, so we didn't.
Yeah, it wasn't then.
Yeah, but
well, I mean, when you really think about it, when you look at it all, I'm the OG.
Yeah,
I'm the one that came out first and had all these other styles that I shared, right?
Yep.
And so that it was like there to pick and choose. Like when my brother Sendog wrote that joint called Latin Lingo, he had called me from New York in the studio. He's like, yo, man, can I borrow your Mentirosa style? And I'm like, yeah. And he goes, all right, well, I wrote something. I want to bust it for you. And you tell me if I did it right. So he started busting the lyrics to Latin Lingo, funky by your lingo, baby. He started cuando entro, when I come in, the suckers miran, they miran, another vaya lingo vampira, vengo con un ejemplo, check the tempo. Está chingón el instrumento. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, yeah, you got it, my nigga, you got it. Go ahead and run that. And so they went in and tracked that.
How does it feel though? How does it feel as a big brother, the OG, for them to?
I'm the little brother.
But you're the OG, though. But you're the OG when it comes to that.
I'm the OG, but I'm the little brother. Just make that clear.
You jumped off the hip hop porch first. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Well, I had to. I was homeless. Pops had kicked me out of the house.
Okay.
So I had a reason to have to be out there hustling and grinding and meeting this one and meeting that one.
Cubans under pressure are the best. We invent everything. I don't care what.
90 miles on a fucking Schwinn bike.
Hey, slow down. Slow down,
I'm just saying.
fucker. Slow down.
Yeah, under pressure, you invent some shit.
We gave you the goddamn flag. You slow down there.
Yo,
cool because you're cool with America.
You know what's crazy about this is that Puerto Rico could have ended up as Cuba, and Cubans could have ended up in the Puerto Rican island type of landing because we're actually closer to the United States. I think by a mile or two.
You know what I'm saying? Hell no, we way closer.
Right?
We're
91 miles away from the.
We 90 miles away. 90 miles swimming, nigga.
We're 90 miles away. Now imagine if the United States decides to use Cuba as their ally,
that's why
and then put all that army shit and all that military shit in Puerto Rico.
Yeah, but that's why Russia, you know what I'm saying? Got Cuba, and the communists was so much a threat.
That's right.
Cuba was 90 miles right there's a missile go, and we had fucking nuclear missiles in Cuba,
which would make more sense for them to make us allies, not enemies.
Exactly.
Right.
But
you see what I'm saying?
You sabe el barbú tenía.
Well, the allies should come with who they can control. You know what I'm saying? So
that revolution, I'm on my revolution shit too now, Mellow.
Yo,
I'm starting my own shit. My Cuban revolution
really is,
I'm telling you. I'm telling you.
No.
Pasado is the same as Cuba, my nigga. The embargo. They put a fucking embargo on Cuba. It's like me, the fat beluga, put an embargo on me out here. I can't do no records.
About to have a
with the cool rappers that I love coming up. So you know I got to do it myself. Fucking struggle continues.
Got the Che Guevara fucking hip right here.
Well, you know, look. At the end of the day, nobody.
That's the best pressure. Pressure makes diamonds. So you know what we do. You know.
Facts.
Either way, we're gonna make a record. And I already got the track. I sent it to you already, so ain't nobody stopping that.
Yes.
All right. So we're making it do what it does.
That's hard too. That's going. And I told you that should remind me of Les for the.
Yes. Trip this out. It's gonna be you, me, Les, and Mr. Schick on that joint.
Beautiful. Let's go, baby. Let's go.
You heard it first.
And shout out to the Colombianos, because left Colombia.
There you go.
And and Mr. Schick is Puerto Rican. So we got a lot of islands and a lot of
call that shit island territory. We're gonna go island hopping.
Covered.
Fuck it, island hopping.
Yeah,
call it.
Yeah, for sure.
Word up. We
so now,
where we from?
Not to get too far away from what we was talking about, but that's kind of how all that started. Then now in 1990, when Mentirosa comes out, you know, they put it up against, like, on the radio out here. It went up against Janet Jackson, New Kids on the Block, Madonna, and Shalimar in the first 4 days of one of those make it or break it joints, like, you know, and the people get to pick which record they like the most when they play it. So after we beat Madonna, we knew, like, yo, pack your fucking bags. We're going on the road for sure. And we were able to introduce this new style that would then open doors for a lot of Latinos.
That was special.
After we had no fucking idea, man.
You know, I knew it was special.
I had no idea.
It was on TV rap.
No, when my mother started saying, "La canción nueva, el rap. And she was like, this mentirosa. My mother and my father loving this shit. Oh, the Cuban blood, of course. Because, you know, us Cubans, we support each other. Pero después, it was like everywhere in the Spanish, they was promoting it like that. And then English took it, so it's the double barrel effect, like I like to call it.
Yeah, for me, when I saw it on Yo MTV Raps, the very next day, all my black friends was like, yo, you heard that? What's that dude saying? Mentirosa, this, that. Yeah, you heard that right. They were like, we didn't even know they had black Puerto Ricans. Remember I told you, I was like, we thought you was Puerto Rican. And I'm like, yo, it's Latinos, man. We all colors, you know what I'm saying? But I love it.
Yeah.
You're pink.
That's beautiful. And I think this right here that I want to say is going to go right at Cuban Link. I had no idea that your parents was banging that. And here's what, and I give them thanks, and it's a true blessing. Here's why. Because years later, I would hear you and Pun and your other guy, the other guy. And I was saying to myself, God damn, they're bringing that shit so nicely, man, from a New York Bronx perspective. And I was like, God damn, why couldn't my beats sound like their beats? And meanwhile, I didn't know that I was kind of like guiding y'all a little bit
Oh, hell
vicariously
yeah.
through the music.
Hell yeah, man.
Vicariously through the music. I had no idea. Because, you know, when we was younger, it was all about competition and who's outselling who and
Right.
how many records did I sell? How many units did I move? And fuck them niggas over there and fuck them niggas over. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was really competition based. Now we grown and we understand.
No, we came in, me
We
and
don't
Punch
own.
came, man. We embraced like the Latino. It don't matter who, we don't say, like, we always loved, like, you know, I remember the Sauce. You came, right? When we did it was a Sauce and it was all the Latinos in hip hop. You didn't come? You didn't
I
get
was the
to come.
only one missing, man.
And, see, that's
They
why.
didn't invite you to that?
I was the only one.
Yeah,
There was a big photo, the big photo, right, for the Source magazine with all Latinos on me, and they left me off.
Yeah.
But I was happy for everybody, but at the same time, I'm like, yo, man,
Yeah,
what a
that's
slap
crazy.
in the fucking face that is. Not because of the MCs that were chosen, just whoever greenlighted that without putting the nigga that
Yeah.
set the whole shit
Yeah,
off.
that's
was-
crazy. Yeah.
Yo,
That's what they're doing
that's
to me, my
foul
brothers.
ball.
It shit repeats itself. So they doing this shit right now to me. They trying to. Pero que no te apures. Somos cubanos y inventamos algo. Siempre inventamos algo.
Yeah.
And they got to
No,
follow.
no,
They
for
got to
sure,
go
for
back into
sure.
the course. That's it.
But it wasn't the rapper's fault. I looked at it as the editors and the people who run the shit and Benzino and all them who like, how do you do that without this? You know what I mean? It just didn't make no sense. But you know,
what it was?
we grow from
I don't
those
think
types
Zeno
of
had
things.
anything to do with that, though, really.
Yeah, Zeno was more of a rapper.
Yeah, he was just
trying
like,
to get on with the rapper.
just give me my
Dave
checks.
Mays and stuff like that.
Right,
They
those
had
are the
more
guys,
things.
yeah.
But
Dave Mays, that's his
Dave Mays.
motherfucking name. Dave Mays, yeah.
Dave Mays.
But you know what?
Dave, hey, look, let me say it right now. Dave Mays, you can suck my dick. Fuck you.
Shit, David.
There it is.
Beat now I got to take bullets for that because I know Dave.
And I'm still here, motherfucker. I'm still here, motherfucker. Where the fuck are you?
Killing
Fuck
it too,
you.
man. Yeah, man. That part, right, nigga? That part.
Mellow. That nigga not mellow.
Yeah,
We're gonna call him Rowdy.
Hey, but nah.
Rowdy Ace. Yeah.
Yo, man.
Rowdy Man Ace. Right there. That's Rowdy Man Ace.
Yeah.
Motherfuckers, hey, man, I swear to God, man, on the block, I'm gonna tell you like this, and I'm gonna keep it a buck fucking 50,000. I'm the one with the longest jail record on the block. My shit, I do my dirt all by my lonely, my nigga.
No
That's the
doubt.
real
I do my
shit.
dirt all by my lonely.
That's what I think people.
And niggas,
they
I've
really
never
see.
had to yell it out. I never had to yell, oh yeah, I ran that nigga over in cold blood. I ran that dude over. Yo, yeah, I did this. I never had to say that.
Hey.
All I know is that I went the first time that I get to go see you and chill with you, meet you, see you perform. You killed it. And then we made a little, afternoon after the show date to go to his house.
Right.
All I know is there's a fucking shootout, tiroteo, in front of his house. And I can't even make it to go and compartir.
Yeah. No. Okay. All right. No. He right. But
Yo.
I want you to understand something. I want you to understand something. It's not like that, okay? What happened was, okay, here's what happened.
That nigga.
He's right. No. Shut the fuck up, you fucking liar. You're fucking lying. No, nigga, it's like modern day, right now type shit. It was like last year, the year before, right? So here's what happened. He's right. He's right, though. We did a show. He was there. We linked up. We did it. I felt good on that set.
Yeah.
All right. We linked up through our boy Pachito.
Panchito.
Right?
Gomez.
Yeah.
My brother.
So then I said, all right, everybody come over to my crib. Now, I live in a very nice upscale Asian community.
Oh, he said.
It just so happens that, hold up, man, hold up. Give me a second, you fuck. Give me a second. So now what happened was I get home and the little Asian boy from next door is clapping a BB gun at the other Asian from the other house.
Nobody.
And he's like, pow, pow, pow. And then he came out and slashed my homie's Mercedes-Benz tires and broke a window and with a big ass kung fu fucking sword out this bitch, like a sword out this bitch
over here. What the heck?
And I'm looking from the top of the mountain. I'm like, this shit is crazy. What the fuck? And then homie comes out, pop, 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 pop. Helicopters are up. the ghetto bird gets up around the whole entire neighborhood.
And meanwhile, I'm on the phone. Yo, I'm a block away. What's up? Niggas said they closed off the fucking entrance to come to my fucking
Got samurais and BB gun shootouts over here.
No, then I see it. I think he booked it. I thought he got the call from like Joe or somebody. So I'm like, this nigga bullshit me. Like, then I turn on the news and I fucking see this shit. I'm like, he not lying. It's for real.
Yeah, dog. Dog, it ended up being a 15-hour standoff with the motherfucking sheriffs and this kid in this fucking house.
Wow.
So it was nobody.
Cuban Link gets to go to Mellow Man Ace fucking house.
Yeah.
Incredible.
So
fucking incredible.
It was nobody in, nobody coming, nobody leaving. You can't do shit.
Man,
the next day, it happened again.
What?
I had a show to do, and they wasn't.
We scheduled it the next day. He said the same shit happened. I was like, get the fuck out of here.
So the next day, right?
Yeah. So now I come out to do my show. It's 15 police cars down below. I can't get out. And I said, look, man, who do I got to talk to, or who do I got to tip? Which one of y'all I got to tip? I got a concert to fucking do, and I got to do it. Yeah. Hey, man, we know who you are. We know Mellow, yada, yada. We're going to let you out this one time, but you might not be able to get back in. Now, mind you, I got a 90-year-old father at this time in the house. Right? And he's bugging out with the helicopters coming around the second day, bugging out. And he's like, you're going to go do the show? I said, yeah, I got to go do the show. You know, the lights ain't going to stay on this motherfucker for free. Right. You know what I mean?
You know what I'm saying?
So
it's going.
The motherfucking one times, they let me go down and do my motherfucking show. When I came back, they was like, nah. Dead that. We got this guy surrounded. We're gonna bust in today.
Is this the Cuban Link date to go to Mello's house? I don't understand. This is what I'm saying. Go ahead, see it.
Yeah. So now I gotta go get a telly, and I'm with my girl at this time. And I'm like, all right, well, I guess we're gonna have to spend the night at the telly. So in the morning, we'll come back and see what's going on. Hopefully they went in already, got this kid, and took him to prison, took him to jail, whatever. And sure enough, when I got back the next morning, there was only 2 policemen there, and they were saying, okay, you could come back in, whatever. We took him down last night. We busted in. They told us the whole story. The kid had mental conditions and all types of shit like that he had to deal with.
But it was a BB gun, though.
It was a BB gun for sure. However, all the other Asians got together in the community, and they told the kid's mom, who happened to be in Thailand at the time, they called her. They said, hey, man, your son started shooting. We want you to sell your fucking property and get the fuck out of the neighborhood.
This is not. That's a fucking riot. Now it's a riot. Different. Now they probably a riot after that shit.
That's different though, bro.
No. It was a big text blast and everything. I'm on the blast. So I'm reading this whole shit. I'm like, damn, they're encouraging her to sell. She ain't selling no shit because of this.
Yeah.
Nigga, 2 days later, she showed up with a motherfucking for sale sign on that bitch and sold the motherfucking house.
That's strong. It's a strong fucking community.
Wow.
What happened was he disgraced the family.
Yeah.
You know, they live with a lot of honor, humility, very humble, community, all that shit.
The sword he had is probably to commit suicide after you dishonor yourself. That's what they do. Suicide sword. So that honor goes deep in the Asian community, man.
Yo.
Yeah, so he really, he made the family look bad. It was very dishonorable thing for the Asian community, all that type of shit. And sure enough, they sold the house. It recently sold, and now it's been quiet ever since. So Cuban Link, you can come back in.
You safe now. You're good.
Over there. That's too crazy. I go over there, and fucking terremoto, some shit happens. That shit was the craziest shit in my life. Like, I'm like, what the fuck?
That's crazy.
I was like, crazy. But every day, this day today? Like, I don't come to Cali every day. This shit was crazy.
That day, the kid went crazy with a samurai and a BB gun.
Yeah, man. Yeah, fucked up Cuban Link shit. It was definitely a TS member. He was definitely a TS member. He was a terror squad coming up to be an artist for terror squad. That's what happened. The boys.
Man.
But it was all fun and crazy, but it's crazy stories. And people might think we lying and shit.
That's West Coast shit, man. I always say West Coast shit.
No, it's everywhere with Cuban.
Nah, it wasn't really a West Coast thing. It just happened to be that this kid grew up with the other kid's neighbor for many years before I even got here.
Yeah.
So what happened was he had mental problems, but they were friends. And then it just so happens his mental condition through the years got worse and worse and worse.
Yeah.
To the point where he started clapping at them and shit like that. Now I'm way up here, they're down below, so they can't hit me with none of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
and
But it was a
the way
beating
that
drug,
went.
though.
Yeah.
Like,
He was
what the fuck are the cops?
though.
The cops made a spectacle out of shit that they come on.
Yeah.
Well, because we really, all the neighbors, the rest of the neighbors really wanted to get him out of there, so we told him it was a real
Oh, y'all niggas did
fucking
Yo, he
pistol.
could have
shit.
died, bro.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
they did it so
was a
they
real
could
fucking
control that
pistol.
because it was tired of the kid.
Oh,
Probably
man.
doing other crazy shit there, taking hubcaps and shit.
Yeah.
So, they were tired of this kid. Oh,
Yo.
y'all niggas did him dirty. Y'all niggas
Yo, the Asian kids see menace to
We
society.
got him the fuck out of here.
He got him the fuck out. When the community wants you out, they want you
That's
out. That's
different. That's different. That's fire, though. That's what's
That's
up.
not fire. Cuban Link was still left without the meeting.
Well, I mean,
of Mellow Man for real, like his father and the
Mello
Cuban
don't want to
culture.
hear that. He got
I wanted to go
home.
there for that.
Mello's like, I don't want to do 2 days in the telly. Man.
Nah, but I really wanted Cuban to come through and kick back. You know what I mean?
Well,
Like,
he did it now.
I already had a fat bottle of fucking
Yeah, he gassed
tequila waiting.
He gassed
You know what I
me.
mean? Like,
No,
I
no,
really
no,
wanted
yeah,
to do it. You know what I mean? Like to really solidify. Like I really wanted to solidify our brotherhood.
Right.
You know, like
Yeah.
that.
That's
You
what
know what I mean? And really like, welcome, come here, Cuban Link, you
Yes.
fucker. I
Yes.
love you. You
Yes.
know what I mean?
That's what it
My
was.
house,
That's
mi
what I love
casa.
that. That's how you
know what I
greet
mean?
Cuban. That's how the fuck you greet Cuban Link right there. Just like
Yeah,
that.
nah.
And you know that was
It was really it was good. It was about to be that mi casa tu casa shit. You know what I mean?
Hell yeah.
And it was stolen because of that fucking kid. You know?
Wherever you are, you fucking kid.
We got to do that. That's a good name too. Mi casa tu casa. That's a good title.
Yeah.
Talk about the little fucking crazy.
Well, shit. Now y'all, you know what I'm saying? Now y'all got that opportunity to fucking get that shit right. You know what I'm saying?
Now we gotta do that. We gotta do something special for Cuba. Me and him, especially.
Yeah,
you know?
man.
Well, I definitely want to do like a Cuban thing between me and you, or some maybe another artist. I don't know.
No, you have to. You have to for sure.
Pitbull nigga ain't gonna do it. But,
I don't know, man.
You know, but somebody else is Cuban. Not Don Dinero. Forget about that, bro. Baloney. But okay, otro Cuban. They got a lot of Cubans. We gotta find out.
Maybe we get Sendog on it.
Oh, Send.
You know what I mean?
There you go.
Send.
Sendog. You know, that'll be crazy.
That'd be fire.
But you know, that's where we at. That's where we at. But you know, that's up to 1990. Back with the story with the music and the way and the reason why we're here today. You know what I mean? And then, but like I was telling Cuban from my heart, from the bottom of my heart, like you know, enough respect to your moms and your pops for playing that music in your house, and hopefully I was an inspiration to you
100%.
and to your brother Pun, you
100%.
know. And I remember one time y'all had a show at the Hollywood House of Blues.
Yep.
And I went up there with Be Real to check y'all out.
Okay.
And man, what I saw, y'all devastated the fucking stage. Y'all did shit to that stage that I hadn't seen before. You know what I mean? So
that's dope, man.
Y'all niggas,
man. You know, you inspired us, and we can inspire you back, man. That's love, and that's the way it should work. You know, artists.
Yeah,
like
no, y'all niggas just really housed it. Y'all niggas housed the fucking party, and it was with y'all came out with the TS fucking emblems on, and niggas swinging 40-inch cables on you like. If you got too close, you were gonna get sliced the fuck up with those fucking with those medallions. I'm telling you,
that fucking chain,
that TS sliced me under the neck a lot of times. You know what I'm saying? Oh, no.
Yeah, so
pun intended and everything, because I think it's like later. Get cojones. I can't even make fucking
but the chain itself was crazy.
But
no, man. And I remember just thinking to myself, man, how proud of a moment it was to get some reinforcement into this Latino thing, because that's what y'all did as a crew. And individually, Cuban Link, and when you think about the Beat Nuts at Cypress Hill, y'all added on and made it real. Like it wasn't just a passing phase that happened with Mellow Man Ace, and then Kid Frost threw his La Raza in there, and then it was over with. No, and that shit continued, and to this day,
Frost all the time.
Latinos are outselling every other genre of music. It's us. Now on top of this, and
we're power to be reckoned with right now.
We definitely are to be respected.
But we also gave like the mixed, you know what I'm saying, the mixed black and whatever Puerto Rican and Latinos, also that courage to say, yo, I'm half Puerto Rican, like a Nori
out of nowhere,
you know like a Fabulous, you know, he's half Dominican,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? AZ's half Dominican.
Yep.
So there's a lot of them that came out because you know what I'm saying. You know, our
it was now
Spanish
cool.
Union.
It was cool
doing
to
what
say
we did. Yeah,
it was starting to be cool.
Well, it starts with that guy right there, though. It starts with that guy called Mellow Man. Well, Rowdy.
Well, for him, it'll say it starts with Mr.
Ace.
Schick. But yes.
Well, Mr. Schick also. Mr. Schick
look,
also.
man, look.
So
I don't mean to sound all Martin Luther King about it, but one day I had a dream And it was this.
A
It was
dream
this
of
to see
Latino
everybody
Cubanos.
follow. Yo, man, I mean, really look at it. You got Psycho Realm. You got niggas like that. You got Cuban Link, Big Pun, the other guy. And you have, even let's put Pitbull in there. You got
Yeah.
this one, that one. So many of us now in there, the Noris, the Fabulous,
Kid
this
Frost
guy.
also.
You
That's
know
my
what I
brother.
mean?
Kid
So
Frost.
35 years ago, I had a vision of the day that we were them niggas, and now we are them niggas.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That is. That's the Martin Mellow Man speech right there.
The Mellow
I had a
The
dream.
Mellow Luther King.
I had a dream,
Mellow
God
Luther
damn it.
King. That's you right there, Mellow Luther
You
King.
judge
I
of
had a dream, man.
the content of their rap, of their hip hop,
Yo,
and of their
man.
heritage.
Yeah.
Can I get a win?
Facts. Facts.
Nah,
Facts.
man,
There was, no, for real, for real.
and that's
It
a
was a
beautiful thing.
vision, and it's
This hip hop thing is to unite. That's another proof right there that this hip hop shit is to unite.
That's a fact.
You know
That's
what
a
I'm saying?
fact. That's what it was always for.
and it's not just the hip hop. I mean, look at reggaeton, which I feel is the cousin to this, right?
Facts.
When I was on tour with El General back in the day,
So that's the main one.
he was the first one doing it.
It was.
Okay,
It was.
out of
Panama,
it wasn't even
right?
Puerto.
Panama.
I'm sorry, GQ. It wasn't a Puerto Rican thing.
It's all right.
It
You
was.
offended me.
It was.
Yeah, he's not.
It-
Yeah.
Tu pum pum, mommy, no,
no.
man. Va matar tu pum pum. That shit was over there when I was out. You know what I mean? So I know the origins. Like, I was here from day first. So niggas can't run that shit on me.
Yeah.
You feel me? You can't run that shit on me. You can run that shit on a nigga from 5 years later after me or 10 years later after me, but you not on my watch.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Remember General?
Not on my watch.
The real Spanish
story.
reggae before reggaeton was
remember
a
that.
thing. You know what I'm
My-
saying? Sure,
he's
bro.
That part.
Vico C.
My story is different.
Because he came later, but because
Yeah,
he's
but
part
he
of
was
them too.
part of them. Yeah, absolutely.
Because he's another one.
Yeah.
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 Vico C. That he was rhyming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember when Vico was one of the first dudes that I heard from Puerto Rico at that time, but he wasn't getting it here.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
No,
He
I heard
wasn't
about that too.
getting it here yet.
Yeah. I
He
kept
wasn't,
my ear-
and
I kept my ear
I'm
to
talking
that.
about 88, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
88, 87, 88 in there. But
Yeah.
because he was stuck on the island, his shit wasn't getting over here, whereas our shit was getting over there.
Yeah.
Right? But he gets nothing but love and respect and admiration too.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Crazy. That's
Ruben, DJ, and all them. Lisa M, you heard?
Lisa M. Yeah, I remember them. I remember them.
Yeah. And so now you got the reggaeton cats that kind of put their own island twist on what hip hop is really. That's really what they did.
Yeah.
Whereas New York, y'all got the scratching and y'all have those jazz records. We had more of the East LA sounding tracks from Carlos Santana, Malo, Sierra, and all that. They get it from a demographical place and put the it's demographical. So it's supposed to have a different sound to it. However, I still believe it's the cousin and an attachment of the shit that we set off.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about it. I mean,
it's hip hop at the end of the day.
at the end of the day, bro.
It's
Yeah.
hip-hop. You know
Niggas
what I'm
is
saying?
rapping. They
Yeah.
rapping.
They was
Yeah.
rapping.
Yeah.
They was
They
rapping.
rapping.
Yep.
They rapping. They not doing nothing different. The music is different, but they rapping.
Yeah, same thing we doing.
Yeah.
I mean,
They rapping. They rapping.
they rapping.
Respect
Ab-
back.
Absolutely. So I remember before when COVID, well, not before, but when COVID hit, I remember it put such a damp on everything, shows, show money, and then all of a sudden things, the clouds started to separate and everybody started to get back to it, right? What was that feeling for you, man? Like because I see you everywhere, man. You had like every freestyle event out there on the West Coast and all that. Like they booking you heavy, man.
Well, first of all, is how scared were you when the fucking COVID shit came?
My nigga, my biggest fear in life is having to sit down. Like I'm a hustler. I came to this country for an opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
And you're gonna take the opportunity from me now? And I gotta sit down? Are you crazy?
That's what they tried to
So
do.
what I did was, because all the golf courses was open and people were separated, I could play golf. It was on the golf course that I met some investor dudes who said, "Why don't you start your own wine company?" So I started I started a wine company.
Merlot.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm still waiting. We still waiting for a bottle or two, bro. Come on, man.
It's a wrap. I sold the company and flipped it. I got this.
Hey, good for you though.
I got this. You know what I'm saying?
That's what it is.
But
right
yo,
there. Flip it.
yeah. But I couldn't sit down, my nigga. So what I did was I came up with a wine company called Havana Wines, named after my daughter.
Beautiful.
Right. So I started with one bridal. It was I called it Mellow Merlot.
Yeah.
Dope.
Right. It was a dark wine, very nice tasting, very elegant wine. I went and chose the labels myself. I went out and I had a show with Rodney O in New Year's that year in Napa Valley, where the best grapes are grown.
Mm.
So when I get there, the promoter's asking me, yo, Mello, what do you want to drink? And at the time, I had just had a heart attack. And so I was really big on wine. And I told the promoter, because he thought, I was going to want some tequila or some Hennessy or some shit. I said, no, I want a bottle of red wine. And he looking at me like I'm dorky as fuck.
Mm-hmm.
Like what's the matter? What's wrong? Like, you don't want some tequila? I'm like, no, motherfucker, I want wine. Red wine.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, all right, okay. Hey, they got some of the best grapes down the street here. There's all kind of vineyards here. I could take you to check some out tomorrow before you leave out of town. And I said, great, that'd be dope. So the next day he scoops me up. We go to the vineyards and I check out the vineyards and I'm like, yeah, I'm going to start a fucking wine company. Why not? And so now,
see, that's what
because
about Cubans, boy.
You got an idea.
You give Cuba just a little bit of fucking opportunity as a rap.
That's
what it is. That thing over there hustling. Why now? Okay. That's beautiful.
Yeah. So now,
I gotta do.
Here's what I did. Now remember, we're in shutdown.
Right. Everything.
We're in fucking shutdown.
Yeah.
So I could get everything. I could get everything done and put together and bottled, but how I'm going to get it to the consumer? No, you can't. You need a license for that.
Okay.
And the license is like 20 fucking thousand. I've already invested 30 and just starting the company, right? I started driving. I did a Facebook ad saying, yo, curbside pickup at this address from the new Mellow Man Ace wine.
Okay.
I sold my first 24 bottles that I made. And the guy says, hey, if you could sell 24 bottles in one day, you could sell a case. I said, well, how many's in a case? He said 50. So I re-up, I bubbled back up, I doubled down, got 50. Did another curbside, sold those out the same day. He said, well, if you could sell 50, you could sell a whole crate, a whole pad. What do they call that shit? A whole pallet. I said, well, how many is that? He said, that's 52 cases.
So I put
the money down. Boom, 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 boom. I peeled out. Nigga, do you know that my whole fan base gravitated to it, sold out the entire shit. I made a small fortune during the pandemic because I didn't sit down and believed in self and believed in the company. And then I tried to sell, because I had built a street equity in it. I tried to sell it to Oscar De La Hoya, the boxer.
Right.
Because he was one of my golfing buddies, right? So De La Hoya at the time, he started to think about it. But in the meantime, somebody else was already ready to move and go, yeah, I'll take the company.
Okay.
So I went with him while Oscars was busy.
Yeah.
And I had to go for mine.
Of course.
I had to go for mine. I'm not gonna tell you what it was, but it got me this. And so here I am.
Congratulations.
That's it, man. But put the fuck on the clause. And listen, not for nothing. Cubans, and I'm saying this for a reason. I'm saying it because I'm trying to inspire myself from my predecessors, right?
Right.
Like you see his hustle game, right? Yeah. Hustle game is tremendous right there, where you saw the story. But you go back to Desi Arnaz. If you know the story of Desi Arnaz, Ricky Ricardo.
Right, of course.
If you see his hustle game, how he made it, how he became who he was, you have to tip your hat off.
You can't not be inspired. You can't not be inspired.
And that's what I mean. I mean, I'm in a situation where I'm against all odds. So when I get that type of, those stories,
right,
of my bloodline, my people, you know what I'm saying, that make it happen when we got no way to make it happen. It's always a solution. It's always a bright light at the end of the darkness.
Facts.
And that's what, you know what I'm saying, I still do in hip hop. Like I'm still in it because of that.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Believing in myself. Of course, God, you know, number one. But definitely, my people's got that hustling spirit and that hustling bloodline. So, you know, that's why Cuban Link and Mellow Man Ace will be rapping till we fucking 90 or 100. You know, we still be doing our thing.
Nice.
We know we really love it. When we love something, we go hard and we don't stay in one spot. We keep branching it out and we keep, you know what I'm saying? You know, just doing what we do, man.
So what's the next hustle for you? I see you got the clothing line.
Well, that's something I should have anyway. I think what has me most inspired now is the year that hip hop turned 50 years old, supposedly, right?
Right.
I got approached by the city councilman of 2 cities over from here. And they said, Mello, we have a budget for you. We'd like for you to have a curriculum here in the area that teaches hip hop to the kids in the community.
Dope.
And we have a set aside budget for that. And when he told me the number, I was like, I'm all in.
That's it.
I'm all in, God damn it.
He got quads.
Yeah, right.
He got quads.
Yeah, no.
He's holding quads.
But the crazy thing about it was all golf connected, right? So my nigga who I played golf with had the restaurant where I actually met this dude, the city councilman. So then he tells me that they have a budget. And when he told me the number, I'm like, yeah, I'm with it. So all I had to do now was create the curriculum. So what I did was I reached out to certain people that I had known in the industry. This female, Abby, who I'd known and she worked on the Crazy Beautiful soundtrack with me. Okay. We had a song called Dan La Fe on that. And then she had done some stuff where I met her with Cypress Hill like 25 years ago. Even though what she didn't make the album, I always wanted to work with her. And then I reached out to my nigga Bronick to teach the drums and live programming, right? She would do the singing class. I do the MC rap class. My man Bronick has production. We got together. We came up with different curriculums for each classroom. Beautiful. We went back to City Hall and met with all city councilmen, the city manager, the mayor, and everybody was there. And they passed it unanimously.
Beautiful.
And they loved it. And so we had over 125 kids graduate in the first season alone. So that's really the one that I really like the most because it's rewarding.
What about filming it, man? You don't think about filming it? Like, you know what I'm saying? Filming them special.
I didn't film it because
like I'm talking about like a series, like, you know, like a, remember back in the days they had Channel 13, PBS, and they'll focus on one student and you know, I remember they had that shit. I was on it shit actually.
When we were younger, things were a lot easier. Now you have these parents that don't want their kids on film. And you have to be real careful about what you say to their children because it's not like when we was young and somebody could tell you, yo, your shit is whack. And you put your head down, but you went back, you studied, you got in front of the mirror, you worked on your shit, and you came back and you battled and you battled that kid again. Right?
Right.
It's not like that anymore. Now it's like, oh, little Jimmy's doing quite well, although he could use a little more help. And you got to like walk on eggshells to tell, you know what I mean? Because they real tender and they real, you know what I mean?
That's the element,
and the parents, you know what I'm saying? Like, they're very sensitive. They're very sensitive. You can't just tell a kid, yo, that shit was whack anymore. You can't.
Yeah.
Because now he'll cry.
That's what made Warriors. That's what made us like Warriors back in the days.
We all felt like shit, but we were just so determined to make it good that it was like, you know, we dig deeper to get it.
That's what they say, though. They say, soft time, good times make soft asses, or something like that.
No, hard times make. Yeah.
So
Nah, it's just participation. Here you go.
I come from the school of steel sharpen steel.
That's it.
You feel me?
Yeah.
Like if I don't hear it 100, if I don't get it,
the samurai sword. I know you come from that fucking. You got the Chinese samurai fucking ninja that was living next to you.
That's all he was trying to tell you.
He's sharp as steel, all right.
He would say, anybody else got one of these so we can sharpen our shit together?
No, but he wraps everything back to that whole incident. Like
I rap it. I'm the master rapper right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
No,
Well, we couldn't film it for that reason. Like, you had to get releases. Now we're talking about a community center of kids that have never seen a musical instrument before,
Yeah.
and a lot of them were very timid. So we couldn't just shoot it outright without all kind of. I'm sure I would have had to go and draft up a release form and all these other things that it just wasn't what they were looking for at the time. Even if MTV or whoever BET wanted to put this shit out on TV tomorrow, it wasn't going to be that simple.
And you know what's another thing about your shows, man? When I seen it, I was kind of surprised, but very proud is that, nigga, you up there playing the timbales,
all that
He's up
shit.
there playing the congas.
He goes back then.
Yo, he incorporates the musical instrument part of it. You know what I'm saying? That was so dope to see that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And
good looking out, Cuban. I mean, look, during that's something that I learned during COVID. That's another thing that I took up. Aside from golf and the wine company, I had so much time that I got with that girl Abby to teach me how to play percussion, so that when we came out of COVID, I could be a more well-rounded entertainer.
Right.
So she's the one that started teaching me how to play percussion, and she gave me a homework assignment once to learn the Afro-Cuban All-Stars song called "A Tribute to Nino Santiago," right? So I came back. I studied the whole week. I came back in a whole week. I learned the whole joint with the singing parts and everything. And she just started like, wow. At first she started laughing, like she couldn't believe it. I stopped. I'm like, why are you laughing? She said, I can't believe that you even learned the singing parts. She said, you're ready to start playing at least your own stuff on stage. So I jumped in at the end of the, I jumped in the deep side of the swimming pool, and I went out and invested in my own percussion rig and everything. So by the time COVID lifted, now you're gonna see me playing percussion and rhyming, coming back behind the drums, and doing it. I learned how to play the bongos and the conga.
Yeah, definitely. Like certain songs, like I always wanted to do a show, like a play, like a Broadway play, to show the history of like the Cuban fusion. When it, my story, como, you know what I'm saying?
Like how Mike Tyson did his, like, did you see the movie?
Right, but it'll be
I'm saying
more incorporated.
Cuban Link thing where you have your.
What about Cuba? Just the fusion of the Cuban and hip hop. Who is really Cuban Link as far as the link to Cuba, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but you'll have moments where
which is the same link as what he's talking about. It's like, you know what I'm saying, playing them instruments, giving that vibe of being a Latino on the block, you know what I'm saying? And just us having our uproots from our parents.
I can see that. Cuban Link on Broadway. No, dead ass. Your whole story, how pun.
Okay, let's not go crazy. I'm just trying to tell you one show.
Say that when I get deep in this shit. Pause.
But we could incorporate. I'm saying I could incorporate like a Mellow Man Ace. You know what I'm saying? To set it off, and he passes the baton. You know, like a Broadway play.
Yeah.
That's dope. I'm freestyling right now, but okay.
Fire.
No, you know what I'm saying, we gotta use our talents for different things.
No, from your mouth to God's ears, fam. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
That's the way that goes.
Yeah.
So.
And we can end with the statue of the little Chinese guy with the fucking sword. And try to bring him back into the community.
Yeah.
We try to bring him back right now because that was foul. That was foul, Mellow Man.
They socially voted him out.
My point is that during COVID, I didn't sit the fuck down.
Facts.
No doubt.
I learned all that other shit, and I did all that other shit. And it's still making me money, at least the percussion side of it. Because when I get booked to do a show, I bring my whole arsenal out, and I can really entertain people. And it feels a lot funner on stage having multiple things to do.
Yeah.
And now I can be like how Cuban said, Ricky, more like Ricky Ricardo, because I can get behind the drum. And then I like to introduce you to my good friend, Psycho Les. Psycho Les comes out he fucking rocks fucking
Panchito,
off the books this year, right?
Panchito up there. Panchito killed the fucking timbales. You know what I'm saying? That's Puerto Rican Cuban shit. He let my man Panchito get on there. He was doing his thing with the timbales.
It. Wow.
You know what I'm saying? If you guys don't know, Panchito is the guy who played in Selena and in American Me. You know what I'm saying? And he'd known him forever. So when I came over there, so he was the middle guy between us. He was like, "Oh, they're performing over there." So he gave me the address, and we both went over there.
Fire.
We seen it. They killed it. They killed it.
Yeah. That's crazy.
I was proud, man. I was watching like a fan, like, oh, I didn't even want to get on. And, he got me on stage, too. He brought me on stage and everything.
Yeah.
But I was just like, let me just watch y'all, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? I became a fan.
That's hard.
Yeah, no, it was a good time, man. It was a good time. And I think that was what came out of COVID. The whole COVID thing for me is like, I didn't sit the fuck down. And you know how they have cameras on every fucking street light, street post and all that now. So I'm sure they were reading my license plate You know what I'm saying? Like, who is this motherfucker on the move all the
By
time?
himself, right? That's what they
You
did with
know?
me. I was
Yeah.
by myself on highways.
be
There was no
home.
cops. I was loving it. I got no
Oh,
license.
yeah.
I had no license. I was like this by myself. I was like happy as fuck going
Yeah.
fishing, looking at water, getting inspired. So it was a
Yeah.
time for me, me really.
No traffic. Flights were cheap as hell.
I never got
Nigga, no traffic. No traffic at all.
No traffic.
No traffic.
You could fly
So
round
what-
trip to California like first class for like $350. You know what I'm saying? It was amazing.
I was never flying though. That's how the fucking shit came anyway. It came like that.
Yeah.
One nigga
I was always flying
from
man.
China came and the shit got in the plane, and
Yeah.
I would never get in that plane. No. I was chilling, driving everywhere.
Driving,
I
yeah.
felt like I Am Legend. You see that?
Yeah, of course, with Will
I was
Smith.
me trying to fucking rape fucking little deers around in the fucking wilderness. That's what I was doing. I was getting in touch with nature. That's what I was doing.
You thought the world was ending anyway, so it was like, fuck it. You know what I'm saying? Everything.
Yeah, but I was staying away from people though.
Of course.
Except in the casinos. I was wilding out in the casinos.
No COVID here. No COVID here.
It's the worst place to be. But I was there too. I was in Mohegan Sun and the bullshit. Oh fuck.
Yeah.
Well, but you got a lovely place back there, man. A fucking little wine money.
Beautiful.
I see a lot of rooms you went to.
Yeah,
you think we're
beautiful.
not watching you, but you walk into different for you. You trying to sell a house? What are you doing?
Hey, shout out.
Hey, Pop, el puro.
Bill, ven acá, ven acá.
Ay,
Shout
coño.
out.
Míralo. El nombre.
The
¿Cuál es el nombre?
original Mellow Man Ace Sendog.
¿Cómo está, puro? Un placer.
Bendición.
No, claro que no. Claro que no. Esa es cosa cubana.
He can't hear you.
A mi mamá y mi papá siempre. ¿Quién es ese, Felito?
This is
¿Cómo está,
He's the
papi?
one that he turned me into a man. He kicked me out, but I got my shit cracking, and now I
That's
take care of him. How about that?
That's right.
That's how it goes.
And you can never kick him out.
Damn, pues, damn. Me parece que está en la Florida. En la Florida. Okay. Yeah. This is Sendog Senior.
That's right.
That's what's
That's
up.
a fact.
That's the man right there. Buenas noches. Buenas noches.
Shit.
Nah, that's great, man.
Nah, but I appreciate you. When you said something about the rooms and no, this is just the kitchen. But
yeah.
since
Mira,
I got
he's
you
modern.
here,
You try to be
hold
real.
on. I got an idea, Cuban.
Dale.
Since you were never able to make it come in,
Yeah,
I'm gonna give you a tour.
Yeah, please
We'll
do.
do like some
So off the books cribs.
MTV Cribs right here on the motherfucking show. Okay, off the books. All right, off the books. All right, so you come in from out there.
Look at that.
Right.
Be careful with the
And then you
samurai.
Look at that already. The fucking Hardin.
This is the kitchen, and I wanted to make it have like a very Cuban Latino feel because it is a Spanish villa,
Loving it.
right? So
Love the fucking.
Yeah, I
you
love
see
the
that door right there with the
way
fucking
the round,
on top of the door? Yeah, that's like the
this
caption.
room is dedicated to my mother who passed away
That's
2
a beautiful
years ago.
room.
May she rest in peace.
Every Cuban got that chandelier coming down over the table. Beautiful.
That's her right there.
Mírala ahí.
Rest in peace.
No,
Blanquita. Oh, okay. Yo no soy, coño.
Okay,
Cuando me da el sol, yo soy negro, pero yeah, without the sun, I'm a little light skinned.
That's right. Get him, Mellow.
So
He's
this-
picking on me all the time.
this right here is the actual opening to the front door. You come in, and then you go out here,
Yeah,
and you got a little Zen garden that I created, and I planted every plant that you see.
Wow.
I did it all myself.
Yeah, that's
After my mom died,
the legal plant.
I
in the
needed-
front, right? The legal
no,
plant
they're
in the
legal.
front? What are legal ones at the back?
It's legal over there.
So no, because after she died, I needed a hobby because I took it very bad.
Yeah, yeah.
So I took a YouTube tutorial. This is the living room right here.
Ah, look at
Beautiful.
that.
Look at the
That's
fucking top.
gorgeous.
It's like a cabin feel.
That's gorgeous, man.
Yeah,
Yeah, love it.
and
you
so
decorated this.
all of these doors open up.
Look at
All of
that.
these doors open up to go to the courtyard out there, right? And so you have,
The tambores.
and it's all music related shit, of course.
Mhm.
Over here, I got my timbales and shit like that, right?
Shit. Okay.
This painting
You
was
wake
in
up
her
butt
house.
naked. Tell me you wake up butt naked, you open the windows up, and you start playing tambores right there, butt naked.
That part, right?
Uh-huh.
So then you go through here and you have all the
There you go, the
accolades
The
and
platinum plaque, baby.
You see him?
all this right here.
That's a walk of fame right there.
Yeah.
And then all these doors open up to go to that same courtyard, right?
That shit look dope. So
And then
wraparound. The wraparound. Okay.
you have the Cypress Hill. I wrote
That's
on
a
that
long
first
ass
Cypress
story.
Hill album.
Fire.
Dope
We
shit.
we sold 1 million on that one.
Fire.
And then back here is where the magic happens. So I'm not gonna take you in there.
Shit.
That's
a different
that's
kind
where
of
they
magic.
get it.
That's the Man Ace.
That's
That's no mellow there.
hey,
That's Man Ace.
right here on Off the Books podcast, man. Welcome to my crib.
You heard?
Word up. Word up. That's a fly ass crib. That's a fly crib.
That's fire,
shit.
man. Congratulations, man.
That's a fly ass crib.
The other day, I saw that picture you put up from 80, I think it was 87 with you and your brother in the record shop.
Oh, yeah.
That was an inspiring pic, man. That was a very
That's when we used to go hand to hand and take the records into the store, get it on consignment and all that, you know, leave them like 10 or 15 pieces, come back and pick up your money in a week or two. So the struggle was real back then, man. It was real.
It was man-made back then.
Yo, it really was. But you know, in that picture though, it's like,
I mean, we see guys like Master P and all that, you know, how they did it.
Yeah.
Straight out the trunk.
Straight out the trunk.
So that was real shit, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I seen that picture. So in that picture, it kind of spoke to me because I seen the look on your face in the picture with so much hope and confidence. I didn't see that in Sem Dog, but I saw it in you. It's almost like you believed before. Is that kind of accurate? Like you believed in the vision before any of them could really see it? Or?
Well, I want to say yes to that because it's like this. You can have 4 people in the same car. You get in an accident and all 4 people saw something different. Right?
They felt the same shit.
So
they felt that motherfucker.
For me, I like to think that I inspired them to reach higher levels within themselves. And I think, you know, if they were to tell the story, I've never asked them that, but I think to have one of the biggest rap groups of all time be your backup dancers at one point says something about you.
I mean, when they go through history, I think is written. It's written.
No, man, they've gone on to do so many amazing things.
Yeah, they're great.
That I can't take the credit for certain things that they did. They've done so much of that on their own.
But even they spoke, they spoke about you. I heard interviews that they bigged your name up, and they said if it wasn't for you, you know what I'm saying, you was the first, the one who set off the fire. Yeah. So I heard them say that. You know what I'm saying? I heard Be Real say that. I heard Mugg say that. You know what I'm saying? So
that's dope. That's real dope. Much love to them. Because, you know, the beauty of it all for all of us is at the end of the day, we all made it.
Yeah.
And I think that's what we need to be happy and proud about.
But you know who didn't make it, though? That we all fucking feel a certain way. That little Chinese nigga you kicked out.
I knew he was going somewhere.
We wonder where the fuck is the Chinese samurai guy right now? That's what we gotta find out.
That was the last samurai. That was the real life last
fucking
samurai right there.
Trump is in office. He ain't coming back in.
He's out of here. He's ghost.
Fucking Mellow Man fucking Ace.
I got a question for about Muggs though. Muggs he grew up on the West Coast, or did he come from the East Coast and move to the West Coast and then y'all linked up? How did that?
Yeah, he was a Queens nigga.
He's a Queens
from Flushing.
So he's talented.
From Flushing. He's a Queens nigga, and he had moved and relocated here.
How old? What year and how old was he?
I believe as of high school, he did high school out here.
Wow.
And then we met him just out of high school because he's our same age and everything, and he was real b-boy minded. He was one hell of a b-boy at the time that we met him. I mean, he had some ill moves, and aside from that, he loved baseball, so he fit in perfect.
Did you break
with me and Stendog? Yeah, I was a b-boy. I started out as a b-boy.
Yeah, okay.
Be Real too, right?
Yeah.
I think Be Real was also right.
Yeah.
What about Stendog?
Yeah, he Stendog and Be Real were pop lockers. They were, you know, the wave and all that.
Yeah, electric boogie shit. Okay.
Electric boogaloo and shit like that. Yeah.
Wow. I would have thought somebody
to be. I mean, to become
you gotta be something. You always
in that era.
Yeah.
That me too. Like I fucking tried to do the graffiti and the shit.
It
sucked.
Sucked. And then breakdancing.
Breakdancing, that was nice. I wasn't
that good because that shit was painful. I was this is whack. That shit hurt.
I came from Puerto Rico and went straight to the Bronx. And you wouldn't even understand how I looked. Like with the fucking dress attire,
Phil Ski,
and the fucking combat boots. Ay Dios mío.
So
I had to fit in. You know, my black people were over, you know, they embraced me regardless. That was something about me. I was eating fucking chitlins at the age of 10. I was doing a lot of shit with going to Baptist church. All of that. Yeah, my man,
That's
So
a whole.
I got inducted into the black culture.
That's a whole.
Yep.
What was that vibe like coming up in that era for you guys as youngsters? Like was everybody pretty much gravitated to just East Coast hip hop?
How old were you? How old was you when you came?
I was 4 years old.
Well, I was 5.
Yeah.
I was 5.
But I'm saying coming up, was
old.
it like everybody was on the East Coast type of hip hop, or was
Well,
it just some, or you guys?
if you were around our way, yes,
you get
East Coast. But the minute you crossed the tracks and went into Watts and South Central, niggas was on some West Coast, LA Dream Team, World Class Wrecking Crew,
right,
and shit like that, Egyptian Lover type shit. You know what I mean? We were a little bit different in the sense that we took our lessons from the East Coast,
right? That you could tell,
and even like when you see me on stage, like one of my biggest things that I always loved was the Savage Nomads and the Black Skulls. I mean, the Black Spades and all that shit has always intrigued me. So I got my Levi jackets cut. I have and I cut the sides and then I'd string them up. And the Ghetto Brothers, one of the OGs.
Was it from the Ghetto Brothers? The Warriors?
Yeah, Warriors.
Did you see that movie? And then you said, I love that?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Yeah. And I fell in love with that shit back then. So it always intrigued me, even though I wasn't on the East Coast. I always felt like if my parents would have chose, New York instead of LA, that would have been my lifestyle anyway. Right. So to this day on stage, like I still rock vests with the cut sleeves, the outlaw jacket joints. That's how much of an influence that shit had on me.
That's right.
Yeah, thank you. One of the patch did you have a Puerto Rican flag on the patch, or was it the Cuban flag?
Yeah, well, I had a Puerto Rican one because they had ran out of the Cuban one.
Yeah, see, that's how we do.
So aesthetically,
anyway, this is our flag anyway. Fuck it.
Yeah, the way I look at it is like we're cousins, right? Cubans and Puerto Ricans. They
absolutely
during the transatlantic slave trade, they stopped in Puerto Rico and dropped some of us off there. They dropped some of us off in Cuba. They dropped some of us off in Santo Domingo, Haiti, and all that shit. So I believe that we're all related in that sense because what they did want to do was break up families.
Caribeños.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
but the natives.
So I feel like we're all
too. You have Taínos.
We got different Indians.
But
no, Taínos. It's main Taínos.
Yeah.
But they got another. It's three
different tribes. Yeah.
I forgot though. I forgot the other two.
But even the Atuays.
Atuays.
Okay.
Yeah.
I never heard of that. I don't know if you were ever.
Three of them. It's funny names. I can't remember. My sister told me that shit.
That's crazy.
But it's more Taínos though.
Yeah. Wow. That's fire. See, that's what I'm saying.
For sure.
We're connecting to
and then you got the African connection. You got the African connection. That's why you got niggas like my father. He hella dark. But my mom was more Spaniard. And she was more y'all's complexion.
Yeah. Now you'll say y'all to him because he's gonna paint it to me.
No, I'm dope. Maybe maybe. See, I'm trigueño. See, he looks trigueño here.
See, look,
he fucked
this
up.
is real. This is the real look of me. It's just the lighting that makes me.
No, hell no. This nigga does not look pink in that camera.
You see this guy?
In real life, he's pink.
This is really me. Really me.
No, I know Embassy, man. We've done shit together here on the West Coast. We got to join together and everything. So I know.
Let me tell you.
When we started this podcast, he didn't get a son. The son wasn't out here like that. So he was really.
I lived out here way longer than this.
Yeah, he looked like strawberry quick.
Fucking.
Pero me, I mean, Diosito, Negrito.
Yeah, Pakistan, all that shit. Yeah.
Yeah, all of that. Whatever you want to say. Pero that's the beauty, man. We all
different
Latinos.
Shades.
We all Latinos, but we, different shades.
It's all shades.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because when we did our video, the significance, I didn't even realize it. But when you were like, yo, I used to work here. And I was like, where? You was like, you pointed at the building, Capitol Records. I was like, oh, shit. I forgot.
See, he stood into the relationship, the business part of it. So he was like, that's why he, that's very important to do.
Yeah.
In my case, I was in the middle of bullshit. I was, Fat Joe was the one that was speaking for us. So he was the business guys to those people.
Yeah.
So for me now to go to those certain labels, over authority.
Yeah.
But it's a beautiful thing to have the connection with those, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
With the business side of them. Because, he could be definitely he still has a shot to bring them work and be like, yo, let's work on this project. And, and when you get a budget from the fucking, the labels, it's a whole different type of label.
Or the mayor.
We all know that. We all know that. So that's why I know that.
Get a curriculum budget. Yo, why don't we get one promoters to book, Cuban to get on these shows with you, man? You know what I'm saying?
Forget about
some of these free.
Yeah,
seriously.
Listen, man.
It's a check.
No, it's definitely from what I've seen.
We're gonna do what we do.
It's a political thing.
Yeah.
They get who they want. They get who they grew up with a lot of the times, and they don't treat them. They don't treat you like an artist necessarily. Sometimes they can treat you like a slave ship mentality. A lot of the times too. So it's about, you know, creating. They don't book us for new songs. They book us for the classic catalog part of it from 30, 35 years ago.
Because they make money still on it, though. Remember that. They still make money off those records.
And remember, this is something that's very important, Embassy. Like, you got to remember, when it comes to me, when I came in the game, the hip hop community didn't embrace me. Not off the top. It was the freestyle music that embraced me. And the artists like Stevie B and shit like that, and Lisa.
Wow.
They took me under their wing, and I became their little brother.
Okay. See, why didn't you know that?
So
I didn't know that either.
Yeah. So now my very first tour in the business was the Stevie B tour. It wasn't like the Public Enemy tour.
Freestyle music.
But which song, though? Spring Love?
Yeah, Spring Love.
Spring Love, all that.
Yeah.
Come
Come
back.
back.
Yo, for real.
Springtime love is all I that I can.
And we just heard a fucking song with you doing something like that.
Yeah. Oh,
What was that song we just heard?
Song? Fuck. What was that?
Come on, you know
song?
the fucking song when you fucking doing the freestyle house music. Which was it?
Oh yeah, welcome to my groove.
Welcome to my
groove.
Yo, baby,
Yeah.
welcome
And you
to
killed
my
it. You killed the
groove.
fucking rhymes on it. But I'm all like, this.
Thank you, my nigga.
He was just playing it. I was like, oh shit, niggas motherfucker with the freestyle.
Yo,
That's it.
would you believe I'm the only rapper on the West Coast that has a house record? And I never understood that. Like, why more people wasn't fucking with house music?
Yeah, but Joe said back then.
No, I'm saying on the West Coast. On the West Coast.
Oh yeah. Yeah, but that was the thing back then.
That was there. Doug Lacey,
freestyle and fuck
Doug
house
Lacey
music.
back in the day. What?
You got the power. All that shit was house.
Two Without Hats. You know what I'm saying? Back in the day.
Those are the
Two in the room, all that.
Yeah, nigga.
All that shit, man.
That's crazy, bro. And here you are today, still getting booked for a freestyle event.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I was saying, like for me, it wasn't the first, you know, or the Public Enemy tour or Crush Groove or no, it wasn't that. It was the house music niggas. I mean, the freestyle music people, the artists embraced me like off the top. Like
it was Latino.
We want you over here with us. You know what I mean?
The Latino love.
You know, TKA, shout out Angel, TKA and them niggas. You know, the Cover Girls, Taylor Dane, all of them, you know, my man, my George Lamond, Johnny O. When they saw
still doing his thing.
Yeah.
Still doing
and little did I know most of them was Puerto Rican.
Oh, that's
So when I come to New York and they would be like, yo, you gotta be with us. You gotta be with us. I'm like, I'm with you. I'm right here. Right?
They made it a thing, right?
They're like, you on our
I didn't know the importance of that.
Yeah, it was that segregation. It was that thing.
Yeah.
Sorry, them niggas like, you know, when I used to love Guru so much, one of my favorite joints was, you know, the Manifest, especially the remix, you know, Manifest and shit like that, you know?
Manifest too.
Yeah. We used to roll heavy off that shit, man.
Yeah, rest in peace.
We used to roll heavy off that shit. And so it wasn't, for me, I didn't come in that route. I didn't come in that way.
No, they
you know, it was Stevie B.
You got there,
after when I met Guru, and after, you know, like niggas turned the record over.
Nice
because I think people heard Mentirosa at first and they thought it was something sweet.
Right.
You know?
That's what I was going to tell you before.
Commercial. They were asking.
I was going to ask you that question. When that first came in, they probably categorized you in certain ways.
I think they put you in the realm like of Hammer, where they thought you were just
Hammer
time, and then come to find out you were real.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right. But I think once they turned those records over and heard the B-sides, you know, like the River Cubanos, the joint talk capella that Be Real wrote for me, and all that type of shit, they were able to see, like, wait a minute, there's a real MC here.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's not just this. He got all this other shit. And then they heard the house record and they had, you know what I mean? Like different shit.
You said it. You was diverse. You know what I'm saying? You had a lot of angles. You could have duet, Spanish, English, freestyle, whatever. You could write. You're a writer. You're an MC. Yeah. And I heard that through your music. Like, You know what I'm saying? If you go back to his archives, you see the lyrical pen was there. So he could just go with any subject, any subject matter. He's Cuban, though. He loves dancing.
I was going to say that part. That I think being Latino, we're exposed to like our own culture, and then we love everybody else's culture.
But since he came out with, Mentirosa, it was more of a Spanish into the Spanish culture. Really,
right. But I think
it's hard for them to let you go too. They don't want you to go nowhere.
I think that was like their first impression of you, right? Mentirosa. So it's like,
look,
this is what we know of you.
No, it wasn't. But
certain things. Look, it happened simultaneously. I'll be honest with you, because here's what happened. The freestyle artist took me in, and then remember, since the record was bilingual, you had to do all the mainstream shit. Like I was one of the first Latino niggas on Soul Train with Don Cornelius, Arsenio Hall, all that shit. But at the same time,
I thought I was opening up. It was him. See, he beat me to that too, because he had me too in Soul Train. I was like, oh shit, I'm the first Latino.
No. Fucking Mellow. I owe him another apology.
I'm sorry.
What happened was I had to play both the Latino market too. So guess what happened? Now I'm opening up for Celia Cruz, Tito Puente and them.
Wow.
You know what I mean? On that side of town, on that side of the world. So aside from doing,
like they say, like too Spanish. And to us, it's just being us.
Right.
But it's sometimes, you from the black culture, he's that Spanish dude.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's what it was too with him, because they embraced him so much. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's a good
thing. To the point to where Celia, rest in peace, she was like an aunt to me.
I wish I could have.
We never had to make music together to know the family connection there. And that was the beauty of it. It wasn't like that we had to do records to prove anything.
Right.
It was like whenever she come on the West Coast, my aunt Weenie was her West Coast publicist. She called me over. We go kick it. My mom's and her used to kick it.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
That's phenomenal.
My mom's was Celia's favorite singer.
Oh, wow.
Wow. And then you got man.
That part.
So your mom's
that part.
No, she loves Celia Cruz so much. Like she is like, wow. Like I could imagine like your mom, like, I wish one day I could meet her, and then all of a sudden one of her children.
No, his mom was a singer, he's saying.
Well, she did, but she loved.
My mom's was a singer, and whenever Celia would come to town,
she would sing for Celia.
Get out of here.
That's dope.
Look at that.
I remember those pictures, boy. That's 1980, something like that.
With the high top fade on the nigga.
Yeah. But if you get it in the 70s, I got the ones that you got the paper of the things, like fucking, like they wrote the commandments on them shits. Like the actual pictures, I got Cuban pictures, that black and white.
Super fragile, right?
And shit like brown on the edges, like they try to burn it before. It's like those pictures. So, I know.
So your mom used to sing with Celia whenever she was in town?
No, she.
Okay, look, my mom didn't want to be famous. So what she did was she sang for the Lord. Wow. She sang in the church.
That's the best way, right?
But she could break glass with the octaves she could hit. Right. So one day she sang for Celia, and then every time after that, Celia would ask for her, hey, Weenie, llama Nieve para que me venga a cantar. And shit like that. So my moms would go down there to whatever hotel she was at, and they'd hang out, and then my mom would have to sing for her.
That's so
and she would say, ay, nievecita. Yeah.
See, right there, everything you just described right there, that's the dream. That's the dream. You come to this country and you become something. You know what I'm saying? Doesn't have to be all glitz and glamour, but to become something that's positive like that. You guys, listen.
Yeah, but we really got to escape our shit. You've had a free pass to come back and forth. Us Cubans got to fucking...
and then never go back. Go back.
But saying, people come to this country from other places, and then it just could fall apart. The kids can grow up in gangs, this, that, third. You guys, I know it's still, you go through adolescence, things are rocky, but you still guys kept it together. You became something. You know what I'm saying? Your father could be proud. Your mother could be proud. And then you continue the legacy where then your gift brought Celia Cruz into your life, and then from there you're able to bring Celia Cruz into your family's life, and then become family to a certain degree where
she's like a god.
You know what I'm saying? Think about that.
Celia is.
That's somebody that
the
majority of people that looked up to Celia would never get an opportunity to even be that close, let alone be in.
You remember when Pac said, "I remember Marvin Gaye."
Sing to me.
I remember Celia Cruz used to sing to me, had me feeling
Cuban was the thing.
Cuban was the thing to be.
For real, for real.
Yeah, word up.
That was it right there. That's what Celia is.
So now think about it now, what you guys bring to other people. You know what I'm saying? Your presence, how you guys inspire. You see what I'm saying? In hindsight.
You know, you never really think about it like that. I don't. And here's why. Because relationships, they still break up in your life.
And it's fuck you then.
Baby mama, you got the baby mama problem. You got the bills are due. You got this one. You got that one. You got to go here. You got to go there. You got to take care of the old man. So you're just going through your life as just another human being, but you never really think about it like that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know, like, who did I affect? And even though here's one of them right here, Cuban Link, you really don't look at it like that.
Yeah, we don't.
You know, because
we just be us. We be us.
We just be us. We just be us.
Cool. And we real MCs. Like he writes, he picks up that pen and he writes his shit. His life.
I know that.
Yeah.
He writes it. Motherfuckers don't write.
That's
motherfuckers are made up artists and superstars. They make them. We really come from that pen. That pen and that paper, and we really put our feelings. Like me, I consider myself an MC because I put my fucking real life in fucking paper. So you know, whether I feel free with that, I feel like that's my therapy. Yeah. So to another person, it might be like, yo, they respect me to health because I do that. Right. Others be like, I think it's too personal. Yeah, that's not my type of rap. Right. So we out there to get judged, but we out there to get judged on our own merit for the works we bring with our own pen and pad. You know, that's the meaning of us as fucking being MCs.
Yeah, because I remember when I first came to you to work with you. You know what I'm saying? I tell this story to other artists that kind of struggle with their motivation. I'll tell them, look, on my part, right? I sent you a track. My team was like, yo, this shit is fire. You know what I'm saying? I sent you a track. You stood with it, and then you hit me back and said, yo, I'm not really inspired by that one. That one's not it. Now, when I tell this story to other artists, sometimes they'll be like, oh, damn, that's fucking bummer. That's disappointing. Or, nah, fuck that. And I was, no. I said no. Because, first of all, why would I burn a bridge? It's his opportunity. If he don't have to like his shit, he don't like the shit. Who fucking cares? The gem in the story is the fact that as an artist, I went back to the drawing board. You know what I'm saying? And was like, I didn't get personal. I didn't say, well, fuck Mellow, he did. No, fuck me. I'm trying to get to that level. You know, I'm trying to do my shit. So you know what? If that's not hitting fam, cool. Let me redo a whole new track. I didn't even have that track ready. I got another beat.
Is this a personal fucking story here? Because I'm getting lost a little bit.
Yeah,
it is.
My shit with him. Okay. So then I got a new beat, rewrote it, and I was like, okay, this time I'm going to try to go a little bit more. I want to have it to be like a more West Coast kind of a feel because I can rock with either side. Don't matter to me. And then with that one, that's when we killed that one. You know what I'm saying? But I tell this story to tell artists that are coming up, even to myself. I ain't signed or nothing like that. But the point is, you don't let yourself get discouraged because the artist you want to work with ain't feeling that shit.
Let me show you, and let me tell you kind of inspirational shit, the same shit you said.
Yeah.
Pun went in and did John Blaze. He was the first rapper on it. Well, no. Let me get this right.
Okay.
Nas was the first rapper on John Blaze. Remember, it was 3 rappers. It was Chef, Nas, Jadakiss, Pun, and Fat Joe. It was for Fat Joe record. Spit first.
Yep.
He was about to set it off. Pun went after Nas. Nas heard Pun's verse.
I had to go back.
He said, let me go back. Now, that's an artist. I'll take nothing away. I give more props to Nas for doing that because it's like, it's not just about you. It's about, you know, of course, you got to show
in.
But first, you got to tap in and you got to know the fuck, you know, you want to give your best to it. So I guess the best that he first probably heard, it was, you know, from sometimes going first, you might just do that. He wasn't confident. He said, yo, let me get this rhyme up. But when he heard Pun on that, he inspired him. I wouldn't say that, you know, he want Pun to burn him or whatever. But Nas is Nas to us.
He was Nas at that point.
To me, to Pun himself. Nas is one of the gods.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So that was a compliment itself, and that goes down to the work of who you are as an MC.
Yeah.
That you went back then, he killed the second one. He killed the first one. Believe me, I heard it both. Maybe the world didn't hear it, but I heard them both. But Nas himself, another MC, made him get on his fucking horsey, get on that motherfucking shit and push his potential. And it's hard to even do that to a Nas. You know what I'm saying? And to a person that's in that situation already, because Nas is already a made man.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? So for somebody to even have to have that, and that's what MCing is about. It's about pushing the pen.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? If we could push the pen or whatever.
Well, for me, not to interrupt you there, that's a great example, though. For me, it was more about track selection and not just conforming to whatever your first idea was. If this is going to be a collaboration amongst the two of us, then let us both feel comfortable with the selected piece of music.
Very important.
You know what I mean? And And I think that's really where my Afro-Cubanism comes in, because my grandfather was the conductor for the Cuban military army, and so he had a specific way of doing shit. And yes, I was a very little boy seeing that, but maybe that's one trait that I got from him.
Right.
And it was like, if we're gonna collect,
Caprichoso in Spanish,
Oh,
Cuban.
yeah.
Caprichoso.
right? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So
Nah,
you know,
I am.
and I think
I am.
and I think that's something that later you could pass on to another kid, is like the importance of track selection. I learned that from Mellow Man Ace.
Yeah.
You know,
Absolutely. Nah, I still appreciate you for that. Absolutely.
And we definitely learned about
the little Chinese kid.
Yo, we back. Yo, you already know.
we learned how as a community we could get something that we don't want to
fuck off the island.
We know how to get the fucking ghetto birds out. We surely know how to do that. And block Cuban Link. That's a Cuban
Yo,
Link.
I'm gonna tell you something, yo, Mello. If Cuban goes back to LA or whatever and links up with you and some other shit happen, it's him.
No, we
it
gotta,
ain't nothing
we
about
got to fucking document this. We have to.
Dead ass.
Yo,
I know this, man. I know this. My life, just other people. I'm sure
something.
other rappers, even him. I'm sure that we live a certain type of life that's surreal.
Yeah.
That you be like, yo, this shit is for real right now, and we just forget to fucking record it because it's real shit.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Like, this don't happen to nobody else. I feel that way. I'm sure he got
For real,
like,
for real.
it's only me.
Yeah.
Like, it's only us.
Yeah,
Yeah, man.
Hey, not to be a damper on this shit, man, because I'm having a really good time.
Nah,
But my earpods are about to die.
They about to die.
no, it's
The
okay,
bat,
bro.
the
It's okay.
battery.
Yeah,
Yeah,
The game was
I'm
winding
reading
up.
on top of the screen. It says, "Yo, your Pixel earpods are at 5%." Just letting you know.
Earbuds or your hearing aids? Which one?
No, nigga, fuck you.
Yo, that's why he be on the road.
Nigga, I ain't that old, motherfucker. I ain't that old, nigga.
You young as ever, baby.
Yo, but
you young as ever.
Yo, but you said you had a heart attack before, and I see you smoking cigarettes. I'm like, bro, nah, no. I'm like,
So no,
You smoking
listen,
cigarettes?
man.
I'm
It
smoking
was
the
cigarettes.
whole time.
Me.
I had a heart.
No, he said he had a heart attack.
But
I
you
had a
didn't smoke cigarettes
situation.
right now? He was smoking?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been smoking the whole time, man.
Salute.
Hey, so look, no, in 2017, I had a small blockage in an artery, and it had to do more with greasy foods
Greasy
and the
food.
things that I had been
My
eating.
father, man, God bless
You know, arroz con gris, fucking arroz con puerco, and all that shit.
All that beautiful fucking shit.
You know, all that heavy shit. But that was after 50 years of eating like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now my
Especially
father
here in the
passed
United States. You know.
Yo.
You know,
that ass.
McDonald's and fucking Jack in the Box and all that shit. Anyway, I had a blocked artery. They went in, they put a little
Yeah.
what's called the angioplasty thing. They just put a balloon in there. They
Like a
fluff it up, they let the blockage go through, and that was that. But it wasn't like no triple bypass,
My father had
quadruple
that.
shit.
My
No,
father had
nothing
that.
like that.
Take veins from his leg and reattach them to his heart valves because it was clogged up. Yeah.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
leads to a heart attack.
Well, either way, brother. I'm glad that you're healthy, you know what I'm saying, doing your thing. I know you got a little bit of time
Good
because
looking.
your shit's about to die.
We salute you here in
Yo.
Off the Books podcast, Mellow Man.
Yes.
Official
My
Off the
brother,
Books.
I love you, man.
I love
I want you to know. I want you to know, Cuban Link, man, you're one of the illest MCs I've ever heard.
Thank you, my
And if nobody's told you today that they love you, I love you, motherfucker. You're one of my inspirations. And when I saw y'all niggas do it, it re-inspired me to get back nice and get back out here really strong again. So thank you.
Thank you, my brother, for being an inspiration to me and holding it down to this age and this time of this era, still to the fullest and being real and being the, you know what I'm saying, a good role model to look over and, you know, follow. Thank you, Bobby.
I'm glad that you told him that you loved him and he accepted because he wants to punch me in my face whenever I tell him that
this
shit.
is going to turn into a gay conversation again because the pink fucking flounder. Nah,
Right.
I always said that to him, man. Come on, man. Nothing but love. Here, extra too, from the East Coast. And that we're 1,000 miles away. And believe me, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, I regretted the fuck forever that fucking comment I made on that magazine. So, you know, I always tell them that. Make sure that the world hears it.
That's right.
It's as loud as that editor fucking wrote it. So, you know, that's for real.
Love you, bro.
De corazón, te quiero mucho. Next time I'm in LA, I'm hitting you up and we're going to definitely make that trip. And
yeah, and we got that track coming up. So once I'm gonna lay down my parts and then I'll send it to you and add on and then let's.
You said you sent me the the skeleton of it, but you said you was gonna go back into the lab and add to it. Yeah, you sent me the reference.
Yeah.
Send me the real shit so I could get on it. Because you know it takes a minute for me to write. So dámelo.
All right, no worries, no worries.
Te quiero mucho. Y dile a papi que lo quiero también, al puro. Y God bless, pap. You already know, man.
Un abrazo a los dos. Un abrazo a los dos, my niggas.
All love, all love.
Nothing but love.